जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
I request Sri Arif Kumar give the welcome address.
Offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of my beloved Bhagwan. Namaste to each and everyone who has gathered here for this august assembly. On behalf of trustees, functionaries and workers of Madhuvanam, I welcome all of you to this august gathering. Most venerable dignitaries on the dais, the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Mohamed Khan, SriKrishna and Rumi, Director of Madhuvan Sai Vidyashram, Sri G. Jayagumar, President, Madhuvanam Satisai Trust, Sri Siddik Mohammed, the Sufi scholar, and Sri Jairaj Satyarajan, the author of the book being released today. I extend to you our love and wholehearted welcome on behalf of all at Madhuvanam. Firstly, I extend a warm welcome to the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Arif Mohamed Khan, whose presence has brightened up the aura of this august gathering. I request Kumari Uttara Jain to come to the stage to felicitate the Honorable Governor with the bouquet. Thank you, sir. Next, let me take this opportunity to welcome SriKrishna and Rumi, Director of Madhuvan Sai Vidyashram, who is instrumental in seeding and nurturing this ashram, school, and all attendant institutions. Above all, this beautiful events as this is. I welcome you, sir, to this august gathering. Sri G. Jayagumar, President, Madhuvan Sri Satisai Trust, had for long been its integral part and associated with the social welfare initiatives of the ashram. At this juncture, I offer you, sir, our wholehearted welcome on behalf of the Madhuvan Sai fraternity. Sri Siddik Mohammed, a renowned author, poet, and a Sufi follower, in his 3-day discourse on Rumi and Krishna commencing this evening, I am sure that he will lighten up our souls, weaving a bond between these two great masters. In fact, throughout the evolution of this universe, we can find that all masters spoke the same essence, though it was said at different points of time. I extend to you, sir, a hearty welcome to this holy assembly. Sri Jairaj Satyarajan is a retired Indian Air Force personnel. He is a seeker of truth, and I have known him as an active participant in the spiritual discussion forums of Krishna and Rumi held at different parts of Kerala. He has authored the first book in Malayalam on the life of Armenian mystic George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. His book is titled George Gurdjieff, Vadiyum Moriyum. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, to this holy assembly. Last but not the least, I welcome all our guests, the security personnel, the staff accompanying the Honorable Governor of Kerala, on behalf of all functionaries, trustees, and workers of Madhuvanam. Thank you.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Honorable Governor Sri Arif Mohamed Khan ji, and other distinguished guests on the dais as well as among the audience. My pranams to all of you. I am fortunate to be part of this August assembly on this red letter day of Madhuvanam. Consciousness emerges as the universe it assumes existence, which we in India call the Sat, with a dichotomy of awareness and experience. They are what we call Chit and Ananda. Every particle in this universe has Sat, Chit and Ananda within it. They are in existence with predominance of either awareness or experience. The great masters too come to this universe has this Chit and Ananda within them, and they are also coming under this categorization. While Sri Rama was a Chit Purusha, Sri Krishna was an embodiment of Ananda. We are coming across Jalaluddin Rumi and George Gurdjieff today. Rumi was poetic while Gurdjieff was prosaic. The former poetically explained the way to salvation, while the latter was logical in his life. They were like Lao Tzu and Confucius in China. I appreciate Moula Siddik Mohammed for requesting me 5 years ago to provide him an opportunity to hold this lecture series at Madhuvanam, combining the teachings of SriKrishna and Jalaluddin Rumi. When the right time comes, our dreams come true in all its colors as we see today. The first book in Malayalam on George Gurdjieff is also being released today by His Excellency, which was yet another dream. I congratulate Sri Jairaj Satyaraj for bringing out this beautiful book. I am most grateful to the Honorable Governor for finding time to be among us today to inaugurate the lecture series on Rumi and Sri Krishna. As the director of this institution, I pay my respects to all those who have toiled to make this a memorable event, officials from State Police, various departments, and my fellow workers at Madhuvanam. Now I request Moula Siddik Mohammed to briefly introduce his lecture series. Thank you.
Honorable Governor Sri Arif Mohamed Khan, Director of Madhuvanam Sai Vidyashram Sri Krishnan Karta sir, President Jayakumar sir, respected author Sri Jairaj Satyarajan, and all other kind hearts gathered at this prestigious venue. The lecture series on Krishna and Rumi is really the fulfillment of a dream along my spiritual journey, which transcends the limits of and embraces the vastness. A sacred union where Krishna and Rumi meet, where flute of Krishna and the reed of Rumi sing in unison, a harmonious melody of union. Krishna's divine steps and Rumi's whirling dance merge, creating a single rhythm of divine ecstasy. The Bhagavad Gita and Masnavi resonate in the same rhythm, in the same voice, a vision of pure enlightenment. Along the path of Al-Biruni, who brought the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita to the Arabic world. Along the path of esteemed Darashikov, who gifted the West with treasures of knowledge by translating the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Yoga Vasishta into the Persian language uniting East and West with treasures of wisdom. Along the path of Abdurrahman Chishti, the revered Sheikh of Swabiri Chishti Tariqa, who translated Gita and affirmed the pure Tawheed or oneness in the counsel given by SriKrishna and Arjuna to Arjuna. Along the path of Khaja Dil Muhammad, who rendered the Bhagavad Gita into Urdu, reveals its sublime essence. We seek the profound depth of both oceans of wisdom, walking along these sacred paths. I step into the garden of roses through the wisdom of Guru Nitya Chaitanyadi, who has translated Rumi's Masnavi and the Holy Quran, both deeply embraced by his heart, into Malayalam. He carries the spiritual light of his master, Sri Narayana Guru, who saw the divine light of Prophet Muhammad with the purity of his soul. It is the same rose blossoming in diverse colors, each hue reflecting another facet of its eternal beauty. Bhagavad Gita says, Ahamatma Gudagesha Sarva Bhudashaya Stidaha Ahamadischa Madhyamcha Bhudanamanda Evacha. I am the Self, O Gudagesha. Seated in the hearts of all beings, I am the beginning, the middle, and also end of all beings. It is beautifully expressed in Urdu, Dil Ki Gita, translation by Khaja Dil Muhammad. Sun Arjun, मैं हूँ आत्मन बिल यकीन, जो है जानदारों के दिल में मकीन, मैं हूँ मिसल जान अहल जान में निहान, मैं अव्वल मैं आखिर मैं हूँ दरमियान. Similarly, the Holy Quran echoes this truth in Surah Al-Hadid, says, Huwa al-awwalu wal-akhiru wal-lahiru wal-batin. He is the first and the last and the manifest and the hidden. And Surah Qaf, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We are closer to him than his jugular vein. Despite this nearness, we are veiled by the layers of ego, obscuring our true essence. The Persian Sufi poet Hafiz laments, Thou art thy veil. It's only through removing these veils that we glimpse the truth beyond. Sheikh Ibn Arabi poses a profound question. With which eyes will you perceive the supreme light? You cannot see God with your physical eyes. Only his eyes can behold him. Mirza Ghalib sings the essence, Asle shahudo shahido mashhood ek hai. The witnessed and witnessing is one in essence. Bhagavad Gita 1866 teaches that the path of ultimate realization is through complete surrender. Shankaracharya emphasized that the entire wisdom of the Gita is encapsulated in this single verse. Sarva dharman parityajya mam egam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva pabebhyo motrayishyami ma shujaha. Abandon all varieties of dharmas and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Grieve not. Urdu translation in Dil Ki Gita, this renders as, Tu sab dharm chod aur le meri raah, tu mang aage daman mein mere panah, tere paap sab dur karunga main, na gangeen ho masroor kar dunga main. The Quran in Surah Yunus echoes this message of divine protection and fearlessness. Ala inna awliya Allahi la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanoon. Behold, verily on the friends of Allah there is no fear nor shall they grieve. Both the Gita and the Quran speak of divine souls who surrender completely to the ultimate, are fearless and free from sorrow, willing to sacrifice their lives. Rumi beautifully captures this in the Masnavi. Uqtuluni ya thikati la'ima, inna fi qatli hayati da'ima. Oh beloved, slay this despicable ego. Eternal life begins where the ego ends. The profound story of ultimate surrender, embodied by those fearless souls who relinquished the ego's burden, is captured in the remarkable book, Text and Context, Quran and Contemporary Challenges, by our esteemed Governor, Sri Arif Mohamed Khan. My favorite chapters in the history section of the book illuminate the lives of Hazrat Hussain, Baba Sarmad, and Dara Shikoh. What an incredible selection. They are the true emperors of the spiritual realm, the immortal souls who achieved the supreme realization. This is why Khwaja Mu'inuddin Chishti, the Sultan of Sufi, Sultan al-Hind, sang in reverence of Hazrat Hussain, Shahast Hussain, Badshahast Hussain, Deenast Hussain, Deen Panahast Hussain, Sardad Nadad Dast Dar Daste Yazid, Haqqa ke bina la ilahast Hussain. Ruler is Hussein, emperor is Hussein, faith is Hussein, guardian of faith is Hussein. Offered his head and not the hand to Yazid. Indeed, Hussein is the foundation of La Ilaha. Before Aurangzeb, Sarmad, the enlightened mystic who refused to bow or submit, offered his head but never his hand. Sarmad sang in his soul about the spiritual essence of Prophet Muhammad. Mulla Guyad ki bar falak shud Ahmad. Sarmad Guyad falak be Ahmad dar shud. The Mullah says that Ahmad ascended to the heavens. Sarmad says that heavens were inside Ahmad. The language and philosophy of mystics like Baba Sarmad remain incomprehensible to the followers of priestly religion. It is this misunderstanding that led to the crucifixion of Socrates, Jesus, Hussein, Hallaj, Suhrawardi, and Sarmad, etc. In this lecture series, we will explore deeper into the life and works of Dara Shikoh, who sought to unite the spiritual oceans of Indian philosophy and Sufi traditions. Through his renowned work, Majma' al-Bahrain, the meeting of two oceans, Dara revealed the profound Sirr Akbar, the great secret wisdoms, to the world through his translation of the Upanishads. Unyielding to Aurangzeb, Dara sacrificed his life but opened the doors to the heavens of wisdom. This series aims to explore the loving harmony between Indian philosophy and Sufism. With the poetic wisdom of Amir Khusro, who masterfully expressed the mysticism of Tattvamasi, we will seek the secrets of Advaita, the non-duality, Man tu Shudam, tu Man Shudi. Man tan Shudam tu Jan Shudi, Takaz Naguyad Ba'dazin, Man digaram tu digari. I have become you and you me. I am the body, you soul. So that no one can say hereafter that you are someone and me someone else. The Gopikas, filled with longing for Krishna, yearn to merge with their beloved. Krishna consciousness can only be fully realized through the complete surrender of ego, as Radha symbolized, love and wisdom intertwined. Once Radha expressed to Krishna, "My only wish to be your flute." Krishna replied, "That is the most challenging of all. For to be a flute, one must be hollow within. When the mind is emptied, the ego surrendered, and the nafs relinquished, can the divine melody flow through us. Only in this profound stillness can we truly hear the celestial song that the flute plays from within." In Masnavi, Rumi starts to sing, "Bashnu az nayi chun hikayat mi kunat. Az judai ha shikayat mi kunat. Kaz nayastan tamara bubride and dar nafiram mardazan nalide and. Sine khwaham sharh az firaq ta beguyam sharh derde ishtiyaq." Listen to this read, how it complains, telling a tale of separation, saying, ever since I was parted from the reed bud, man and woman have mourned in unison with my lament. I want a bosom torn by severance, that I may unfold to such a one the pain of my love desire. Let us get along the journey of surrender, where Krishna and Rumi meet in the eternal dance of divine love. Thank you all. Thanks.
Now I request Honorable Governor to release the first book in Malayalam on George Gurdjieff, Vazhiyum Vazhiyum. And I request Sri Siddik Mohammed to receive the book from His Excellency. Now I request the Honorable Governor to present the memento to Sri Jairaj Satyaraj, the author of this book. I request the Honorable Governor to present the memento to Sri Siddik Mohammed. Now I request our President, Sri Jayakumar, to present our memento, our souvenir, to the Honorable Governor. Now I request Honorable Governor to deliver his address. Thank you.
Shri Krishna Kartaji, Director Madhuvan Sai Vidyashram, Shri Moula Siddik Mohammed, Shri Jairaj Satyarajan, Shri Ji Jaikumar, Sahodari Sahodranmare, Elavar Komente Vandanam. I think I was not briefed properly about the nature of this event. I was hoping that Shri Siddik Mohammed and Shri Krishna and Karta, I thought I am here only to like you invite a priest to preside over the ritual and I will listen to you in detail. But I was informed that the real exposition of the subject will start after this inaugural session. So I am supposed to speak. I'm supposed to take more time to speak than the real person. Since you are going to speak on Lord Shri Krishna and Maulana Rumi. So let me start with the message which has been given by Lord Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which we know by the popular name of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It has been said about Bhagavad Gita that it is the essence of all Upanishadic teachings. Sarva Upanishado Gavo, Dogdha Gopal Krishna. The essence of all the Upanishads. India is not the land of a book. India is the land of books. There are so many books and so many commentaries and so many viewpoints that even Dharmaraj Yudhishthira got confused and he went to Bhishma Pitame asking, whose opinion should I accept? So, possibly Gita helps us to understand those core values, basic values of the Sanatan Indian tradition. And my understanding is, and this is certainly because I am not a scholar, I am merely a student. Therefore, please don't take it as an authoritative opinion, but as a student, my opinion is that there are two basic or core values which come from Sanatan tradition, and this tradition has been encapsulated. The essence of it finds articulation in Bhagavad Gita, in the words of Lord Krishna. The first is oneness of being. Oneness of being means that the ability to realize, to comprehend, to understand that behind the apparent diversity there is underlying unity. Expressed so succinctly and beautifully in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Yoma pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasya hamna pirnashyami sacha mena pirnashyati. All of us, not just us, all sentient beings have eyes. But Lord Krishna says that the person who really sees is the one who sees me, that is the Supreme Spirit or Paramatma, in all beings, and all beings in Paramatma. And this is not the first time. Much before Gita, it was declared, so kama yata bahu syam pirja ye yeti. And when the ancient yo, the Supreme Spirit desired that for the creation of my people, I should become manifold. So all life is from that Supreme Spirit. And all beings, different beings, diverse beings, they all emanate from Him, manifest from Him, and they all finally merge into Him. And repeatedly Srimad Bhagavad Gita says, Ananyas, not in one verse, several verses, one after the other you can keep quoting. Ananyas chinta yanto ma ye jana parsu paryupasate tesham nityabhi yukta nam yoga chemam vahamyam. Who is my bhakta? The Lord about Himself is saying, Ananyas chinta yantoma, non-separate from every being. You worship me in the form that I am not separate from anybody. I dwell in every being, which means that every physical body is the temple of the Supreme Spirit, is the abiding place, dwelling place of the Paramatma. Now, if I, Jan, please point out the time, because this is such a fascinating subject. How much time I have already taken? 15 minutes. Already? 10. Okay. So, and elsewhere it has been said, it is not only in the Gita, Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Deva Sada Shiva. Somebody who subscribes to the core values of the Sanatan tradition has to consider every being as Devalaya, the dwelling place of the Supreme Spirit. Elsewhere, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it has been said, Sarva Bhuteshu Yenekam Bhavam Avyayam Ikchate Avibhaktam Vibhakteshu Taj Jnanam Vidhi Satvikam. Sarva Bhuteshu, all beings. And all beings are not merely human beings. All beings means all living beings, all sentient beings, including animals, birds, the animals of the water, even small insects, every being one who develops the ability to see avibhaktam vibhakteshu, these separate and diverse beings, one who develops the ability to see one indivisible, that is the Supreme Spirit, in all separate and diverse beings, then Srimad Bhagavad Gita declares that knowledge is Satvikam, that is the pure knowledge. Our culture and civilization is a culture of knowledge, civilization of knowledge. And that is why Swami Vivekananda said that the purpose of life for an Indian is not pursuit of physical pleasures. The purpose of life is acquisition of knowledge. Tapaso adhyay nirittam, ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. Then somebody asked him, and what is the purpose of knowledge? He said the purpose of knowledge is to develop the ability to see underlying unity behind apparent diversity. If we truly learn this basic core value and internalize it, is it possible that I will ever dare to put my foot on the foot of the other person? I will ever dare to violate the sanctity of the other person? But unfortunately, and this has happened with every civilization, not just us. Civilizations have reached their culmination points, and then there has been fall down, decline. Swami Rangnath Nandaji, who was chief of the Ramakrishna mission, and he was from Kerala, Palakkad, for a long period of time he was chief of the Ramakrishna mission. He has analyzed this situation beautifully. In his book he says that we were a culture and civilization of knowledge. What does that mean? We were worshippers of the goddess of knowledge, which obliged us to be engaged in the pursuit of knowledge. So he said that we continued to pursue knowledge, even that was affected. But worship of Mother Saraswati is not completed by merely pursuit of knowledge. Whatever you learn, whatever knowledge you acquire through your sadhana, hard work, after acquisition of knowledge, it is equally necessary, it is incumbent upon you to share that knowledge with others. And he quotes from Srimad Bhagavat, Saraswati Gyan Khalvayatha Sati. He says that a scholar who keeps knowledge imprisoned within her or his chest and does not share it with others, according to, not Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavat. He says, according to Srimad Bhagavat, such a person is not a worshipper of Saraswati, is not really a scholar. Worshipper of Saraswati means that you are engaged in the pursuit of knowledge. It is not by merely offering flowers and lighting a lamp, but where you are tapa swadhyay nirittam. You do not waste any time. You are busy all the time. In fact, a prophetic narration from Islamic tradition comes to mind. The Prophet said, if your today is not better than your yesterday, then you have wasted your time. Which means that if you have not learned something new during last 24 hours, then your time is wasted. So Swami Ranganathanandaji says that we actually became villains of Mother Saraswati by denying access to knowledge to our own people. And that is the reason which resulted in weakening of our society. And once you become weak, you become vulnerable, then it is no surprise that we lost our freedom. We became weak, we became vulnerable. So the first principle, core value of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which has been taught by Lord Krishna, is oneness of being. The verse of the Quran, which inspires the Sufis, which inspired Maulana Rum. In Sanatan tradition, it has been asserted, Ahem Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. In the form of the Atma, the Paramatma dwells in you. Same Paramatma who dwells in me dwells in you. And who is this Paramatma? I am Atma Brahma. The spirit, the Atma is Paramatma. Further elaboration, in order that we can understand, Prajnanam Brahma. It is the Jnana which leads to Prajna. Jnana is ordinary knowledge. And when that knowledge crystallizes into wisdom, then the Indian tradition says that that wisdom is Brahma. The Islamic tradition, Quran, keep it in mind. Ahem Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. The Quranic verse says, very relevant verses have been quoted by Mr. Siddik, but I am going to quote another verse. فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتَ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. When God desired to create a deputy on the earth, then God declared, God says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ. He created a model of clay and gave it due proportion. فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ. And then Quran says, وَنَفَخْتَ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. And he breathed into this model of clay his own spirit, that is Atma. and then ordered the angels to bow down before this model of clay into which Lord himself has breathed into his own spirit. So I asked somebody, I said, has this been breathed into only Muslims or everybody? Said, everybody. If it is everybody, then everybody has the divine element in him. Not just human beings, even others. Maulana Rome, one of the most very popular anecdote which we find in Masnavi, where he says that one of the great prophet of the Semitic tradition, who is greatly revered by Jews, by Christians, by Muslims, Prophet Moses, Musa. In Arabic they call him Musa, in English Moses. So he had the distinction that God, according to the tradition, he was called Kalimullah, one who conversed with God. And he used to go to the top of Mount Sinai, and there he will communicate with God. One day he was going to the Mount Sinai, and on the way he found a shepherd with his flock, sheep and goats. They were grazing, and this shepherd was so lost in his love of God and devotion to God. And he was singing, his eyes were closed, and he was singing, "Oh my God, if I am able to see you, if I am able to meet you, then I will take fresh milk from my goats and sheep, and I will feed you. I will massage your head. I will press your feet. I'll do this, I'll do that." Now, the monotheistic tradition, Moses got upset by these words, and he shouted at him and said, "Do you think," what he said, "what disbelief you are uttering? Does God feel hungry that you will feed him and give him fresh milk from your goats and sheep? Does God have a head and hands and feet that you will massage them? This is blasphemy." The man lost the reverie in which he was, and he got so frightened that he ran away towards the forest, and his sheep and goats followed him. Now Moses reaches the mount, offers his greetings, and there is no reply. And it happened for the first time. He again offers greetings, no reply, again no reply. Then he realizes that he has committed some grave error. And he cries and he weeps and he pleads, and then finally God says, "Moses, you have caused hurt to a dear devotee of mine." He says, God says, that this shepherd was offering his devotion to me as he perceives me to be. This is the understanding which I have given him. Who are you to find fault with his way of offering his devotion to me? Who are you? And I have sent you. The prophetic mission is to bring people together, to bring people nearer to God, not to send them away from God. Let them give expression to their devotion, their feelings in a manner which is suitable to their own genius. And the famous verse of the Masnavi, Tu baraye vasl kardanam di, ne baraye fasl kardanam di. You have been sent, your mission is to bring people closer, to make bridges, not to create divisions, not to sit in judgment. And Quran repeatedly says the same thing. It says, ittabi ma uhiya ilayka min rabbika. Follow what has been revealed to you. La ilaha illa huwa. The same which you quoted, Paritiyajiya. Come, take refuge in me. There is only, actually, we say there is only one God. Not only there is one God, this one God, we cannot even give any name to him. The Sanatan tradition says once you really realize and grasp that Supreme Spirit, then you become speechless. You are not in a position to give even any yato vacho nivartante aprapya mansa saha. Then one becomes speechless. It's only, I'm speaking to you because God is very kind to me. I'm very fond of reading the books. But the day whatever I'm telling you, whatever I'm speaking to you, the day I really internalize it, I will stop speaking. This is what Indian tradition says. I speak to you because I'm a student. I love reading books. Whatever I gather, I think, as Swami Ranghnathananda has said, that it is a duty of ours to share it with others. But the day I really grasp and realize and internalize this message, then it will not remain possible for me to describe it. Because then it will become my own experience. Today I am describing you the experience of the other realized souls. Therefore I am speaking. And what the other thing which Sufis were greatly influenced by, and Ibn Arabi has quoted this verse in one of his remarkable masterpieces. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. The east belongs to God, the west belongs to God. In whichever direction you turn to, you will see the face of God. The literal translation is Wajhullah, face of the God. Now, naturally, we will have to take it as a symbolic language. We will have to say presence of God. God is all-pervading. So it is not only that if I can find God only in one direction. No. God is available in all directions. What is needed is your spirit of devotion and sincerity. The sincerity with which you pursue the path. And here, I can quote from other sources also, but I would like to quote mostly from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, because this is a seminar on Lord Krishna's message, and Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi In Gita, Lord said, Ye yatha ma pirpadyante tansthev bhajamyaham mam vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. A devotee, the spirit, the intention, the sincerity with which a devotee comes to me, I accept him in the same spirit. No, Sanatana tradition does not prescribe any set path. It points out the destination. And it says that all paths lead to that destination. So first basic core value is that our culture, by other scriptures also, but mostly by Srimad Bhagavad Gita, because it is the essence of all other scriptures, is defined by Atma. And the second core value is the principle of karma. Once we understand and realize the principle of karma, now time, these are the concepts where you need lot of time to understand the whole thing, but I will give you just one verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Say, Sakta karmani avidvasa yatha kurvanti bharata kuryat vidwan asakta yatha asakta chikir shuloka sangarham. To understand the karma. A person who is ignorant, who is not familiar with the spiritual aspect of the teachings, he is motivated, driven by his personal desires. He wants to achieve the objects which are desired by him, worldly objects. And he works very hard to achieve those objectives. Lord Krishna tells us that in the same manner as an Ajnani Purush works very hard to attain, achieve his desired objective, motivated by his selfish desires, a Jnani Purush should work as hard as an Ajnani does. But the motivation should be different. The motivation in the case of an Ajnani is fulfillment of personal desires. And motivation in the case of a Jnani must be Chikirshu Loka Sangarham, welfare of the mankind, welfare of the world, not selfish welfare, welfare of the world. So if one really understands and walks the talk, principle of karma is one karma which makes us contented. It does not allow us to blame anybody for our problems or our misfortune. The principle of karma says, very often we see somebody living a very good life, not hurting anybody, is still that person falls into tragic circumstances. So a question is raised, the man was living almost saintly life, why he had to face this situation? We only know what he is doing in this birth. We do not know about the accumulation of what he had done earlier. One has to reap the consequences of the karma, either of this birth or the earlier birth. Quran again almost same thing. Ma khalqukum wala ba'sukum illa ka nafsin wahida. You were born as an individual and you will be raised as an individual to give the account of your actions. Nobody, not even a father, will come to the rescue of the son. The mother will not come to the rescue of the... Everybody is individually and personally accountable. This is what... So, to my mind, basically, these two principles. One, the whole way of life is defined by Atma. And then the other important principle is karma. Sufis, they believed in three principles: unity of all beings, oneness of being, you can call it Advaitvad, you can call it Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi, unity of the divine message. Prophets are many, but the message which has come to the prophets is one. And the third principle which motivated the Sufis, and which is from almost every page of the Masnavi of Maulana Rumi, is the principle of tukhalliqu bi akhlaqillah. Adopt the ways of God. What are the ways of God? God makes the sun to give energy not only to those who worship God or who make offerings to the sun. It gives its energy to everybody, including those who deny the existence of God, who do not make any offerings to sun. And they use a beautiful anecdote, and with that I shall conclude. Again, the fatherly figure among the Semitic prophets, Abraham. It was difficult for him to eat alone. He wanted some company. If no guest was there, he will go out and will call any passerby to come and join for the meal. So one day he called somebody whom he did not know earlier. This man came, and when Abraham, he was a prophet, he was a godly man, he mentioned about God. This man insultingly said, I do not believe in any God. These are all means of exploitation of the common man. Abraham was stunned, and he did not even ask somebody to bring the food. This man waited for few minutes, and then he left the place. Then God said to Abraham, Abraham, you did not feed this man. You had invited him, yet you did not give him food. So what do you think? What should be his age? He said maybe 65 or 70. God said, since the day he has attained awareness, consciousness, he denies me every day and I provide him food every day. You could not give him even meal for one time? And then Abraham ran after him, got hold of him, brought him back, served him food. So the one principle which Sufis uphold is tukhalliqu bi akhlaqillah. Adopt the ways, the conduct of God. God is kind and gracious not only to those who believe in God, who pray to God, who offer devotions to God, but God is kind and gracious even to those who deny God, who sometimes use insulting language for God. I am sure that this will go on for 3 days. 3 days. I am sure that this discourse, this seminar for 3 days will be very enlightening, and people who attend this will benefit from it. I give you first I would like to thank you for inviting me, and I give you my very best wishes for the success of this event. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, valre nanni, Jai Hind.
National anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I've already completed my